Well, we're back for part one of the series, what we're calling Hindsight is 2020. As we look at the last 100 years of the women's suffrage movement, looking forward of what it's going to take to be successful into 2020, my friend Sally Perkins, storytelling extraordinaire, and myself, Julie Kratz, gender equality speaker and trainer, are partnering together to give you the historical perspective as well as the future perspective for what it will take for true gender equality. So, Sally, I'm so excited to hear your perspective. You mentioned to me that you've heard some things as far as what people take away from your audience is what you're learning as you share this historical perspective. Let our viewers in on what you're hearing.
One of the things that I hear most frequently after I tell this story is people who say, I didn't realize how long it really took. It was a 72-year battle for women to win the right to vote.
Yeah.
72 is not precise either, but essentially the day they said, we're going to advocate for the right to vote, from that point to 1920 was 72 years. And in the course of that 72 years, that meant that there were women who led that fight for 50 some years of their own lives and went to their graves without ever casting a ballot. Many people forget that Susan B. Anthony was never given the right to vote. So it's such an incredible lesson and inspiration from these women to know we are not necessarily going to see all the changes we want to see today, but we cannot stop the fight.
Well, that reminds me of what I see in the workplace today. I often hear the message, things are getting better. And I'm very quick to point out where we truly are realistically. We are at a place where in the Fortune 500, we are at a record high female CEOs. Now that record high is 6.6%. That's a number that constantly churns. It was at 5% just months ago. So I don't accept that as success. I think we can do a lot better than that. When you look at board seats inside most positions, they're still sitting right around 20%. That number has been quite stagnant over the many decades that we have been focused on gender equality. So much like our sisters of the past, there's just decade after decade, generation after generation that needs to continue to fight for equality. Now, the good news is on this, that I think women are really leaning into this conversation and practicing resilience, just like we did in the past, that we're not going to take these setbacks and not move forward. We're not going to accept 6.6% as we've hit the goal. Also, men as allies, bringing men into the conversation is something that we can learn from the past. When we engage men in the conversation, they are in fact the majority of decision makers. So let's make sure they're included, that they're also learning to practice empathy, emotional intelligence, working with women when they may just not have in the past. So we're at a real crossroads. I think one where we can look to the past and endurance and focus forward on resilience. We hope that you'll follow us and continue. We have a few more parts to this series that we want to share with you. You can follow me at nextpivotpoint.com. My name's Julie Kratz.
Sally Perkins, sallyperkins.net. Look for Digging in Their Heels. Susan B. Anthony said before she died, her final public words were, failure is impossible. But it's going to take time.
Great words to leave our viewers with. Thanks for joining us.